Day 11. Christine, a horror film that I've kind of been meaning to watch for years, actually. Finally got around to it. Here's what the Death Twitch had to say.
We see at the beginning of the movie she's on an assembly line. She stands out and looks different from all the other cars around her.
Yes. Yes, she does. She does stand out from all the other cars around her because all the other cars around her are white and she's red.
This is what I want for the jingle on my podcast. It's going to be called John Bolton's podcast. No, that ain't us at all. There's no you in Bolton, but I guess that doesn't matter if you're singing it. And I'm a writer. See if you can work that in some way. Basically, just make me sound awesome. Cheers.
Christine is one of King's earlier novels. It was published in 1983, same year that the film came out, weirdly. I happen to own it in first edition, British and American. And I've never read it, and I keep wanting to, because it's kind of from that era of, it's like a golden age of King, I guess you could say. From the same sort of period as like Firestarter and Cujo and Pet Sematary and kind of all the classics before, he started doing detective stuff recently. Bad stuff. I never read it though. What little I know of the plot, it sounds quite a lot more interesting than the film. The film was directed by John Carpenter, who is, I don't really have a favourite director because, if I'm brutally honest, I don't really care who directs the films, as long as the film's good. I don't follow particular directors or go out of my way to watch films that a particular director has done. So when I mention the fact that John Carpenter directed this, I mention it purely because he also directed Halloween, which is one of my favourite horror films, and Assault on Precinct 13, which is one of my favourite gangland revenge films. Also has the accolade of being the only one I can think of. It's alright. Again, this is becoming a recurring theme. It's fine. The Plymouth Fury car that's used in it is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I mean, I can kind of understand why Arnie in the film is so obsessed with it. It's a really nice looking car. 17 Plymouth Furies, I understand, they got through during the course of making the film. I wonder, I didn't stay long enough to see it, but I wonder if at the end of the credits it says, where it would normally say no animals were harmed in the making of this film, it says quite a few cars actually were harmed in the making of this film. I'd like that. That's what I'd have done. So it's directed by John Carpenter. The thing with Halloween is it sort of feels to me like Halloween, shot by shot, it's thought about. There's nothing superfluous in Halloween, I don't think. I think every scene, every shot is meant to do something, meant to say something, meant to contribute to something. Sort of felt like he phoned this one in a little bit. It's fine. I mean, it's quite interesting, I guess, because it's a film that I've been aware of for years. I mean, it came out 5 years after I was born, so it's kind of always been around. And I've been aware of it and just never got around to watching it or reading it. It's in my list of old King books I want to read. I've read Cujo, I've read Pet Sematary. It's kind of sandwiched right, but I've even read different seasons, and I'm pretty sure it comes in between all of those. So it's and Dance Macabre. It's on, and Firestarter as well. It's all that period. And Christine's really the only one in that kind of group that I've not got around to. Maybe I should read it. It's interesting. It's fine. It's a nice car. I quite like the idea of a demonic car. That's a bit different, isn't it? You don't get many demonic cars now. I can't think of any films actually with demonic cars in apart from this one. Not that it's suggested that it's demonic. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I didn't get bored. I was kind of intrigued to see what happened. I was assuming that because the kid gets bullied quite early on, that the car will basically pick him off one by one during the course of the film, which is precisely what happens. I sort of imagined that eventually the car might go after him. That didn't happen. Yeah, so that was alright. There's some scenes in it where the car basically can kind of heal itself. That's quite compelling. And it was all done with like hydraulics and this very practical effects and stuff. That was really good. I really liked that. I probably shouldn't do because I imagine more discerning critics would say it looked crap. I really liked it. Obviously all played in reverse, but it works. It looked really good, and I can't imagine you could do that with CGI and it have the same impact, because of course CGI is when it's done right, is good and seamless and entirely believable, and when it's not done so well, just looks nasty. If you ever watch Ghostbusters on Blu-ray, some of the effects in that now look pretty awful, actually. Not that you could have done any of those particularly easily with practical effects, but could have tried. Yeah, it was good. It was alright. It was one of the better ones I've seen so far this month. Not that it's up against a huge amount of competition. A lot of the things I've watched this week have been dreadful. I think we peaked, to be honest, with When a Stranger Calls. I should have saved that for later in the month. Yeah, Christine, it's good. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's alright. Well done.
Come back soon for the next episode of John Bolton's podcast. What horror movie will he be reviewing? Who knows? Who cares?